My friend, let me tell you something that will set your heart on fire with faith today. God has not forgotten what you lost. The money, the opportunities, the business, the job, the years you invested, all of it is still under His watchful eye. What you think was taken from you is not gone forever. What slipped through your hands did not slip through God's. You may have cried, you may have struggled, you may have said, "How will I ever recover from this?" But hear me clearly. When God returns what you lost, it will not come back the same. It will come back multiplied, overflowing, and transformed by His divine hand. Many people live in defeat because they think their loss was the end of their story. They think the door that closed will never open again. But God specializes in rewriting stories. When you think it's over, He's just beginning. When the bank account runs dry, when your plans fall apart, when the people you trusted walked away, God is not finished. He is preparing a comeback so astonishing that every tear you shed will become a seed for your harvest. God never takes away without the intention to restore. He never allows a loss unless He plans to bring something greater in its place. You may be sitting in a season where you're surrounded by emptiness. You look around and see only lack, but God's power is not limited by your circumstances. He does not need a bank loan to bless you. He does not need an economy to favor you. God owns everything: the gold, the silver, the land, the wealth of nations. What belongs to Him cannot be stopped by inflation, by markets, or by men. If He decides to bless you, no power on earth can withhold it. And when He returns what you lost, He won't just give it back. He will multiply it, press it down, shake it together, and make it run over. Think back to the moments in your life when you thought you were done. Remember how somehow, in ways you couldn't explain, God made a way. He sustained you. He carried you through nights of worry, through bills that didn't make sense, through doors that were slammed in your face. You didn't survive because of your own strength. You survived because God never left you. And if He carried you before, He will carry you again. If He provided then, He will provide again. The same God who held you in the valley will lift you in the season of reward. There is a reason for your loss. It may not make sense right now, but God never allows pain without purpose. Sometimes He removes certain things because they were too small for the destiny He's preparing. Sometimes He lets something die because it wasn't meant to grow where He's taking you. You think you lost a business, but maybe you lost a burden. You think you lost money, but maybe you lost manipulation. You think you lost people, but maybe you lost distractions. God never subtracts without multiplying later. Let me speak directly to your faith. The reason you're reading this right now is not by chance. It's because God wants to awaken something in you. He wants to remind you that your financial loss was not a punishment. It was preparation. He allowed it to strip away the false security that money gave you so you could rediscover the source of real abundance, Him. God doesn't want you to trust the provision. He wants you to trust the provider. He is not done with your finances. He is not done with your dreams. The God who gave you the vision will fund the mission. You see, when God decides to restore, He doesn't return things in their old form. He resurrects them in greater glory. He multiplies what the enemy tried to minimize. The very area where you were attacked financially will become the area where you are most blessed. The same hands that once struggled to pay bills will hold overflow. The same place where you felt embarrassed by lack will become the stage where God displays His abundance. That is how God works. He turns shame into strength, drought into downpour, scarcity into surplus. And you must believe this deep in your soul. Your loss was not your ending, it was your planting. Every loss in God's hand becomes a seed. When you plant a seed, it disappears for a time. It looks buried. It looks gone. But beneath the soil, something is happening that your eyes cannot see. The seed is breaking so it can multiply. Your financial losses were not a burial. They were a planting. God buried your pain in His promise, and at the right time, He will bring forth a harvest that will make you forget the years of struggle. Do not let despair convince you that God has abandoned you. Do not let fear steal your hope. God is still on the throne, and His plans for you have not changed. He has seen your sleepless nights. He has heard your whispered prayers. He knows the moments you've looked at your empty wallet and said, "How will I make it?" And He is saying to you now, "Trust me, I am not finished." What you lost will return multiplied. When you walk with God, your loss is only temporary. The world measures success by what you have. God measures it by what you can trust Him with. If you can trust Him with nothing, He can trust you with everything. Sometimes God allows you to be emptied so He can fill you the right way. He wants you to stop depending on the paycheck and start depending on His promise. He wants you to shift your focus from what left your hand to what remains in His. You may not understand why you lost so much. You may have done everything right, worked hard, stayed honest, gave generously, and still faced loss. But remember this, faith is not tested in comfort. It is tested in crisis. God allows pressure to produce power. You may have lost financially, but you are gaining spiritually. You may have less money, but you have more faith. And that faith will open doors that money never could. Because when you have faith, you have the key to unlock God's abundance. Right now, God is arranging things behind the scenes. He is lining up opportunities, orchestrating connections, and preparing resources. You may not see it yet, but the pieces are moving. The people you need are being positioned. The favor you require is being written into someone's heart. The idea you need is forming quietly inside you. And when it all comes together, you will look back and say, "Now I understand. If I hadn't lost that, I would never have gained this." You are not waiting on a miracle. Your miracle is waiting on your faith. God can do in one moment what years of labor could never achieve. But He is waiting for you to believe again, to speak life again, to expect abundance again. The enemy wants you to settle in disappointment. He wants you to say, "I'll never recover. I'll just survive." But God didn't create you to survive. He created you to flourish. You were designed for increase. You were built for blessing. And your season of loss is about to give birth to multiplication. When God restores, He doesn't calculate like man. If you lose 1,000, He doesn't just give you 1,000 back. He multiplies it according to your faith and your purpose. He takes your obedience and turns it into overflow. The law of heaven is simple. Whatever you surrender to God, He multiplies. If you hold it tight, it stays the same. If you release it in faith, it expands beyond measure. So don't mourn what you lost. Sow it. Surrender it to God and say, "It was never mine to begin with. I trust you to multiply it." Some of you are about to witness a financial reversal so divine that even those who doubted you will be amazed. You will step into opportunities you didn't qualify for. You will receive blessings you didn't chase. You will see debts cleared, doors open, and abundance flow, not because of luck or skill, but because God's hand is upon you. When He decides to restore, no power can block it. But you must guard your heart against bitterness. Don't let anger or comparison rob your blessing. Maybe someone cheated you. Maybe you were betrayed. Maybe you were unfairly treated. Leave that in God's hands. He is the righteous judge. He will balance the scales. Your job is to stay faithful, keep your integrity, and continue walking in gratitude. Because gratitude attracts God's favor, but bitterness delays it. God's promise of multiplication is not a fantasy, it is divine law. Look at nature. One seed can produce a tree. One drop of rain can nourish a field. One act of obedience can release a lifetime of blessings. That is how God works through divine multiplication. If He can multiply the stars in the sky, the grains of sand on the shore, the breath in your lungs, then surely He can multiply what you lost financially. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared for overflow. This is the season to renew your trust, to stop saying, I've lost too much, and start saying, God is restoring everything. Speak it out loud. Declare it in your home, over your business, over your bank account. God will return what I lost multiplied. Your words have power. What you speak in faith becomes what you live in reality. If you speak loss, you'll live loss. But if you speak restoration, you will live restoration. God listens to the language of faith. There is coming a day, sooner than you think, when everything that was taken will return with interest. The tears you cried will water your harvest. The prayers you whispered will become shouts of victory. God will not only restore what was lost, He will add to it joy, peace, and stability that money can't buy. And when people ask how you recovered, you'll say, God did it. I don't know how. I only know He did. The world says, recover what you lost. God says, expect more than what you lost. Because His mathematics is not addition, it is multiplication. When you trust Him, your comeback will outshine your setback. What was meant to break you will bless you. The loss that humbled you will be the reason you walk in divine favor. So keep your faith alive. Don't stop sowing, don't stop believing, don't stop declaring abundance. Every prayer, every seed, every act of obedience is building your return. You are closer than you think. The tide is turning. The same God who allowed the loss will oversee the recovery. You are entering the chapter where God rewrites your financial story with increase. You will not end in lack. You will not remain in struggle. You will rise into overflow because that is the nature of God. He restores, He multiplies, He provides beyond measure. And when He does, remember this moment. Remember the nights of worry, the seasons of waiting, the times you felt forgotten. Remember them not with pain, but with gratitude, because those were the moments that built your faith, and that faith attracted your blessing. Every valley you walked through was shaping your character for abundance. Every disappointment was setting the stage for divine appointment. So lift your head, straighten your shoulders, walk with confidence into your future. The same God who allowed the loss is the God who will command the restoration. You will see financial miracles, unexpected favor, and supernatural provision. What you thought was gone will return multiplied. What you feared was lost forever will become the foundation of your next breakthrough. Keep believing. Keep walking. God is not finished with your finances. He is preparing a return so great that you'll look back and say, if I had not lost, I would have never known how powerful my God truly is. The loss was the setup. The restoration will be the testimony. And your story will be proof that when God returns what you lost, He always multiplies it. My friend, listen closely. There are moments in life when God strips something away not to harm you, but to set you free. The financial losses that seemed to crush you were not punishments, they were awakenings. God was shaking you loose from things that could not carry you into the next season. He was pulling your roots out of dry ground so He could replant you beside rivers of abundance. You see, sometimes God must let your plans fail so His greater plan can succeed. You thought you were losing money, but in truth, you were losing limitations. You thought the door closed for good, but God closed it because He has one that leads to overflow. God's way of restoring is not small or partial. When He returns what you lost, it won't come quietly. It will come with weight, with wonder, with undeniable evidence of His power. People will look at your life and know only God could have done it, because no human plan can orchestrate that kind of recovery. No strategy can produce that kind of multiplication. God alone can take what was broken and rebuild it stronger, take what was empty and fill it to overflowing. When you lost financially, something deeper was happening in the unseen. God was testing the foundation of your trust. He was asking, will you still believe when the numbers don't add up? Will you still trust me when your resources run dry? Will you still give when you feel you have nothing left? Because true faith isn't proven when you have plenty. It's proven when you have nothing and still believe. And when you pass that test, when you stand firm in faith through the drought, you make room for a divine flood of blessing. Some of you right now are in that waiting stage. You're watching others prosper while you're rebuilding. You see others moving forward while you're still patching the pieces together. Don't be discouraged. God's timeline is not man's timeline. He's not late, he's deliberate. He's allowing your roots to grow deep so your future abundance can stand tall. A shallow tree falls easily, but one whose roots reach the waters cannot be shaken. God is deepening your roots in faith so that when he multiplies your finances, you'll have the strength to handle the weight of the blessing. There's a reason God doesn't restore everything instantly. Instant success can destroy a weak soul. Instant wealth can drown an unprepared heart. So God takes his time because he loves you too much to let the blessing crush you. He's not only preparing the blessing for you, he's preparing you for the blessing. And when your character catches up to your calling, when your heart aligns with his purpose, the windows of heaven will open in ways that will leave you speechless. Do you know why God can return what you lost multiplied? Because he controls both time and increase. He can make 1 year of harvest repay 10 years of famine. He can use one connection to open 10 opportunities. He can bless one decision and turn it into a lifetime of provision. You don't need to chase, you need to align. You don't need to fight for visibility, you need to rest in obedience. When you honor God, he fights for you. When you stay faithful, he multiplies your faithfulness into favor. Let me speak truth into your spirit. You are not going backward. It may look like loss, but you are being repositioned. Sometimes God will take you off the stage to refine you in silence. He'll let your business slow down, your money thin out, your opportunities pause, not to punish you, but to perfect what's inside you. Because what's coming next requires more maturity, more faith, and more clarity. When he's done refining you, you won't just regain what you lost. You'll manage it with wisdom, multiply it with purpose, and use it to bless others. Every trial that emptied you was also purifying you. God allowed certain things to be removed so your heart could be clean. He doesn't pour new blessings into contaminated vessels. He purifies through pain. He prepares through pruning. What feels like loss is often God's way of making space. He's emptying your hands so he can fill them with something greater. So don't curse the empty season. Don't resent what was taken. It was God's way of clearing your path for multiplication. When God restores, he doesn't just bring back what was stolen. He also compensates for the time you were without. That's divine justice. God's law of restoration says that when you lose something in obedience to him, or when something is taken from you unjustly, he must return it multiplied. So, your losses are not losses, they're investments in a future harvest. Every tear, every sleepless night, every sacrifice has been recorded. Nothing you gave in faith is wasted. God will settle every account in his time. Some of you have been saying, I don't see any results. I've prayed, I've believed, but nothing is happening. But let me tell you, just because you can't see the roots doesn't mean the tree isn't growing. The greatest growth happens underground. Before the fruit appears, the roots must take hold. You may not see movement, but beneath the surface, God is anchoring your blessings. He's solidifying your foundation so that when increase comes, it won't crumble. Don't let the silence fool you. God works best in hidden seasons. When you think nothing is happening, that's when he's doing the most. He's orchestrating opportunities behind closed doors. He's speaking your name in rooms you've never entered. He's preparing financial blessings that will surprise you. And when the time is right, He will bring it into the open. You see, when God multiplies what you lost, it's not just about money, it's about purpose. He restores so you can be a channel of blessing. He increases you so you can help others. When God gives you more, it's not so you can hoard it. It's so you can distribute it with compassion, because wealth in God's hand is never selfish. It's strategic. He blesses you to be a blessing. The more you give, the more He entrusts to you. The moment your blessing becomes about others, the flow never stops. And let me remind you of something powerful. Faith is not a feeling. Faith is a stance. It's saying, even when I can't see it, I know God is working. It's declaring abundance when your wallet is empty. It's thanking God for provision before it arrives. Faith doesn't wait for evidence. It creates evidence. The moment you believe God for restoration, you activate the law of multiplication. That's when heaven responds. God will never leave a faithful person in permanent lack. Your temporary struggle is not a sign of defeat. It's a doorway to divine intervention. The people who saw you fail will also witness your comeback. They will see the same God who allowed your loss restore your abundance before their eyes. Your story is not over. It's being rewritten with divine ink. And every line will glorify God's faithfulness. Right now, the world may look unstable. Economies may fall, jobs may vanish, markets may shake. But God does not depend on worldly systems. His economy never collapses. He is not limited by banks or budgets. He is the one who brings streams out of dry ground. He can send provision through unexpected sources. He can raise helpers from places you never imagined. And when He restores, He does it in a way that makes it clear. It wasn't luck. It wasn't human effort. It was divine favor. God wants to teach you to rely on Him in such a way that even if everything else fails, you will never fear lack again. Because true wealth is not the number in your account. It's the confidence that God is your source. When you reach that place where you trust Him more than you trust the paycheck, you unlock a level of abundance that cannot be shaken. God doesn't want to just give you money. He wants to give you mastery over fear. He wants to teach you to live from faith, not from anxiety. You may not realize it yet, but you are being trained for stewardship. The reason you lost was not to destroy you. It was to develop you. You're learning how to manage, how to discern, how to prioritize. You're learning that peace is more valuable than profit, that integrity is richer than income, that trusting God is the surest investment of all. And once you've learned that, God knows He can trust you with more. Because divine wealth doesn't flow to those who crave it, it flows to those who can handle it. So hold your head high. Refuse to let loss define you. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a vessel of divine promise. What was taken will be returned multiplied. The seeds of your sacrifice are maturing even now. You will see the fruit of your faith, the reward of your endurance, the overflow of God's promise. The dry ground will bloom again. The empty jar will fill again. The lost opportunity will be replaced by something beyond your imagination. And when it happens, you will not just recover, you will rise. You will be stronger, wiser, and more anchored in faith. You will say, it was worth it. The loss broke me, but it built me. The struggle humbled me, but it strengthened me. And now I stand as proof that God restores better than before. Keep believing, my friend. Keep expecting. Your loss was not the end. It was the beginning of multiplication. God will return what you lost financially multiplied, and when He does, it will carry the fragrance of purpose, peace, and power. Stay faithful, stay grateful, and stay ready. Because when God moves, He moves suddenly, and your season of divine return is closer than you think. So, my friend, as you stand at the edge of your next chapter, take this truth deep into your heart. God has not forgotten you. He has not overlooked the tears, the prayers, or the pain of losing what you worked so hard for. The same God who gave you breath this very moment holds every detail of your life in His hands. Nothing has slipped through His fingers. What was taken, what was delayed, what seemed unfair, will one day testify that God never left you empty without a greater plan. This is your moment to rise again, not with fear, but with faith. Lift your eyes from what was lost and fix them on the one who restores. God is not asking you to understand everything. He is asking you to trust Him. When you trust Him completely, when you surrender your worries, your bitterness, and your doubts, you make room for miracles. You allow God to breathe new life into old ground. You allow Him to open doors that your effort could never reach. Now is the time to let go of the fear that whispers, "What if it never comes back?" and replace it with the declaration, "God will return it multiplied." Say it until your heart believes it. Say it until every doubt breaks. Say it until your soul stands tall again, because your words shape your future and your faith pulls heaven's power into your life. God listens to the one who trusts Him when everything seems lost. Take a look around you. The world is full of people chasing what can vanish in a moment: status, possessions, comfort. But you are being called to something higher. God is inviting you into a deeper relationship with Him, one that is built on peace, not panic, on gratitude, not greed. He is teaching you to build your future on unshakable ground, to find joy in His presence, and to see wealth not as the goal, but as a tool to fulfill your purpose. Don't spend another day clinging to yesterday's pain. Let it go. Release it into God's hands. Let Him heal the disappointment, the frustration, the anger. You cannot carry loss and expect to receive abundance. You cannot dwell on what was and still make space for what is coming. Lay it down right here, right now. Tell God, "I trust you to restore me. I trust you to multiply what I've lost. I trust that my future is greater than my past." And mean it. Because when you release control, that's when divine favor begins to flow. If you truly want to see God move in your finances, in your career, in your destiny, start living as if His promise is already fulfilled. Start thanking Him before it happens. Start walking like someone who knows they're about to be blessed beyond measure. Gratitude is the language of faith, and faith is the key that unlocks restoration. God cannot resist a thankful heart. When you praise Him in the middle of loss, you declare that your faith is stronger than your fear. Look back one last time, not to mourn, but to recognize how far you've come. You have survived storms that should have broken you. You have walked through seasons that would have destroyed others. And yet here you are, standing, breathing, believing. That alone is proof that God is still working. The fact that you're still here means He's not done with your story. You are still in His plan, and His plan always ends in increase. So walk forward with courage. Walk with expectation. Live like someone who knows that God is restoring, even when it's not visible yet. Keep doing what's right. Keep sowing goodness. Keep speaking faith. Because every action rooted in belief is a seed, and your harvest is already on its way. God will not fail you. He never has, and He never will. And when that day comes, when what you lost returns multiplied, when the drought ends and the rain pours, remember to give the glory to God alone. Remember the nights you prayed, the moments you almost gave up, and the voice that whispered, "Keep going." That was God carrying you through. Let that remembrance humble you, ground you, and fill you with compassion for others who are still waiting for their return. Let your life from this moment forward become a living testimony that loss is never final with God. Let your words carry hope, your actions reflect faith, and your heart overflow with gratitude. Walk as someone who knows that God restores better than before. Stand as proof that trust in Him is never wasted. Speak with conviction that no loss is permanent when your life belongs to the one who multiplies all things. So rise up, wipe the tears, breathe ye deep and believe again. The same God who saw your loss has already written your restoration. The same God who watched you struggle has already prepared your abundance. Go forward in faith, anchored in this eternal truth. When God returns what you lost, He returns it multiplied. And when He does, your soul will know what your heart has always believed, that nothing surrendered to God is ever truly gone.